Today we're going to talk about email signatures not working, VDI mouse capturing, Teams not working, and also blue screen of death. There's always more to talk about, but today these are the main topics. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irvin, also known as Kobuman. Welcome to another Help Desk Tier 2 training video. Before we start, please do me a favor in the comments below. Just say hello, hi, or present, sort of like in the classroom. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, let's get into it. First ticket here, intermittent reboots. This is from Tracy Moore. Thank you, Tracy. She submits a lot of tickets from me, and I believe these are actual tickets from the place that she works at. So these are a lot of copy-paste tickets, which is fine because they are still real tickets. And here is an example that points to this, and it says my CCBC laptop. And there's a number there, and this refers to place of work and some kind of a reference number, so don't worry about this part. We just need to know that it's a laptop. And it says here is doing strange things, intermittent reboots, shutdowns, blue screen of death. I think some hardware is failing, question mark. Can you guys check it out? Thanks. It used to be screen that looks like this here, where it's just a bunch of details, and it says dumping of the memory and this and that. More recently it more looks like this. It's just a frowny face, and it just says something happened that caused your computer to crash. So that's a blue screen of death, and typically, yeah, it's related to hardware issues, as it's guessed here. It says I think some hardware is failing. Well, you're most likely correct. And the most common cause of this is a bad hard drive. Bad hard drives can cause these type of issues. Why? Because hard drive is used constantly while your operating system is running. Your operating system is installed on the hard drive, your programs are installed on the hard drive, and the hard drive is doing a really hard work, and it's constantly processing something, doing calculations, and everything else when it comes to either operating system or just running your applications that you want to use. However, the other issues can also call blue screen of death when it comes to hardware, and that would be bad power supply. Bad power supply can also cause intermittent reboots. In this case, I don't think it is, because if it was a bad power supply, what usually happens is that the computer would just shut down and it would reboot again. There wouldn't necessarily be a blue screen of death. Blue screen of death usually means that there is some kind of either conflict or there's something going on with a piece of hardware as well. Sure, motherboard can cause this issue, bad memory, and I should specify that, and that would be RAM. So random access memory can cause this, not just a hard drive. A bad GPU, graphic card, right? Graphical processing unit, graphic processing unit, or you could just have bad software drivers. This can also happen as a conflict that could cause this type of issue. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes you'd have bad drivers that interact with the hardware on your computer that can cause blue screen of death. So these are some of the things you can check out. Please let me know in the comment below if you can recall other things that can cause this. I'm just gonna select reply, and I'm going to say below are some of the most common reasons for blue screen of death. Number one reason, in my opinion, is bad hard drive / SSD. And I'm just going to leave it at that, whether it's M.2, NVMe, or if it's just a regular standard SSD, it doesn't matter. This basically tells you it could be bad storage. In this case, whether it's hard drive or SSD, it doesn't matter. Number two, in my opinion, it could be bad RAM. And I'm going to put in parentheses, random access memory. And in case you don't know, this is just used for your processing of the data that goes between the hard drive and the CPU. So for example, 8 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes, and 32 gigabytes, in case you happen to be someone who is brand new to computer troubleshooting world. And then we've got, what did I say? Bad graphic processing unit. I think that's what it stands for. Video card. I normally call it a video card, but some people call it GPU. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to say in parentheses either, you know, overheating, or driver issue. And I'm going to leave it at that because this kind of covers the part of driver issue conflict, which could be with anything else. So if there is a new hard piece of hardware that's plugged in, even if it's just something that plugs into USB, can also cause a blue screen of death. I've also seen that, especially on startup. And I'm going to say other hardware conflicts are possible. And I'm going to say even with USB connection. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to say, I hope that helps. Okay. And I'm going to save this, and I'm going to close the ticket because there's nothing specific. Again, I say this a lot. Don't close tickets until they are actually resolved. All right. So that was an interesting one. Again, if I missed something, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Sometimes you just can't remember everything that could cause blue screen of death. There are many, many possible things that can cause it. Here's a ticket about email signature block for those accessing through Outlook in Microsoft Office 365. A staff member is having problem creating an email signature block in Microsoft Office 365 Outlook. So this is basically just that signature that's automatically populated whenever you reply to somebody in email or when you create a new email. So that way you don't type in, so you don't have to type in thank you, you know, whatever your name is, and then sign off with other stuff. So it's basically your signature. The direction, excuse me, it's early in the morning. The directions state to select the include icon in the ribbon and then select the signature block icon. Okay. All right, so these must be some kind of specific instructions. The email signature form opens. You are directed to create a signature block. Is this some kind of using some kind of plugin? That could be also it. The signature is supposed to be added to emails automatically after the first time this process is used. Well, yeah, it's supposed to. That's the whole point of it. We checked Chris's Microsoft Office 365 Outlook, and he does not have these options in the ribbon on the tabs in Microsoft Office 365 Outlook. Can someone help? All right. Well, let me see here. Here's Outlook 2016. It's not exactly Office 365 Outlook, but it should be the same. All right, what was my password here? Nah, that's not it. All right, I think I got it. I have to get my phone to authenticate this login. Just a moment. All right, I'm back. Clicking approve on my phone. I'm actually shown how to do this, and I think it's in one of my Office 365 training videos. We didn't hear from you. We sent identification code. Oh, come on now. I'm going to click cancel. I'm going to try it again. Here we go. This is logged in as Mike Moser. It's just one of the fictional characters from my Office 365 videos. Here we go. I did it again. There it is. So I approved it on my phone. So if you go to File and then go to Options down here and then go to Mail and then I know it's right here. Here it is, Signature. So if I click on Signatures right here, here we go. Now I can set up a signature, and all I have to do is just click New, and I'm going to just call it New and I'm going to create it right underneath here, and I'm going to just type in thank you, and I'm going to say Mike Moser, because in this case this is Mike Moser's Outlook, and I'm going to say, I'm going to type in his phone number, so let's pretend his phone number is 555 555 555. And after that, I mean, you can specify when to use these signatures, and here it is, signature for new messages. And I'm going to select new, which is the one we've just created, and then replies and forwards, I'm going to select new. So make sure that the signature is selected right over here. I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to click OK. And that's that. If you are using some kind of plugin, which I've seen people use, then it might be different. I don't know what kind of plugin you're using. For those reasons, I would need more information. And Office 2016 and Office 365 Outlook should be the same. And for those reasons, I don't see anything wrong as long as you do it just like I did. So let's go ahead and test it. I'm going to just reply to this, and you can see that that signature just automatically populates. Again, I have a feeling this is some kind of a plugin that's being used, and for those reasons, I'm going to need more information, as I've stated previously. Okay, so I'm just going to say, please follow the video instructions on how to set up a, I'm going to say set up Outlook email signature. So it's very, very straightforward. I wish I had more information on this. I really hate to leave it hanging like this. You know, some of the plugins that are used in secure email, meaning that the emails get further encrypted and this and that, will use their own plugins with their own signatures and this and that, but I just have no way of knowing that. I'm going to say, and the reason I'm going to say this, and I'm just going to leave it at this, please follow the video instructions on how to set up Outlook email signature, is because I'm going to release this video today, Irvin. So, you know, in hopefully a couple hours, I'll be ready with this video. I'm kind of making it late on it, and that is early Sunday. Usually I make them on Saturday, release them on Sunday. Today's Sunday. So I'm kind of rushing through this as well. Okay. I've had a busy week and weekend as well. I have guests at home. Teams meeting link not working. All right, so Teams meeting link not working. The user is reporting that her Teams meeting link is not working. The class is, okay, so yeah, again, I have a feeling these are copy-paste tickets from, I think Tracy works at some kind of an educational place, like a university or something. This is an online class. Well, let's see what kind of error we have. Thank you for the screenshot. I really appreciate you, Tracy. And it just says we ran into a problem reconnecting. Well, there's your big clue right here. Sorry, we couldn't connect you. So the issue, in my opinion, is most likely with the connection. So where they may not be online, just because they are able to view their email, because this kind of looks like it's just an email link that was sent to them where they can just, you know, click on email content to join a meeting. You know, the typical here, it says click here to join the meeting, blah, blah, blah. And if it's not connecting, then you probably don't have internet connection, or if it's a VPN type of issue, then you may have to connect to the VPN first. You can also get this error when the meeting is no longer there. You know, the meeting is just ended or just no longer exists. This is also possible. It could also mean that you were removed from the invite from the meeting. So you have to check all of these things. Again, you can still view your emails because the emails are downloaded locally. The inbox itself for the emails, like for example, everything that you see in this inbox is actually downloaded on the local level as an OST as well. And let me show you that. I know it's a little bit off topic here, but let me show you that real quick. So if I go to this PC and then go to see users, and here I'm logged in as Kobuman, I'm going to look at the app data, and then I'm going to look at local, and I'm going to go to Microsoft, and I'm going to go to Outlook, and here is our Mike Moser OST right here. That file, you can see that it's only 16 megabytes, is basically locally downloaded version of that index for faster access. And for those reasons, you should be able to open up Outlook even if it's not on the internet or network at all and view these emails. So in my opinion, I think it's just a connection issue. I would start with that and then try these other possible causes that I've listed. So again, make sure they're on the network. If they're working from home, make sure that the VPN is connected, and then look into things whether the meeting was ended, whether they lost the invite, or some other things. But I just have a feeling it's most likely one of those things. Again, I'm rushing a little bit through this, so I had to release this video. So help me out, and in the comments below, just say what you think it might be an issue as well, just so that we can learn from each other as well. All right, so I'm going to say, I think this issue is related to either not being on the company network, or VPN needs to be connected. Aside from that, the meeting itself may no longer exist, or user lost access to it. And I'm going to also say check to make sure that Teams is updated. Okay. I'm glad I remember that, because I actually had that issue recently where I had to update Teams. This usually happens when somebody doesn't log in to their account for a while or doesn't use Teams often, but you can install Teams without administrator privileges because it's installed on the local profile, kind of what we looked at it here. So here's a local profile for Kobuman, and it would be installed in here in app data. And I'm going to save it like that. Let me see here. Let's do another one here. Email signature block. Okay, so I think this is a duplicate ticket. A staff member is having a problem creating email signature block in Office 365. Yeah, so this is the same ticket. I'm going to assign it to myself so I can get credit, but I'm going to close it. I'm going to say this is a duplicate ticket. Closing it. I'm just going to say closing it. You can word it however you want. This is just a duplicate ticket, so I'm just going to close it. All right, let's do some follow-ups to see what we have from the previous, to see if we get any response from the previous tickets that we worked on, and that means from the previous video. And I looked at this carefully, and this is actually a good one. If you haven't watched the previous video, watch the previous video on this specific ticket, and one other that we might be waiting for an update on is that there are basically freezing issues. Zoom freezes and it's not responding, and same thing happens with Teams. There is another ticket that I believe is related to this, and let me just see what that was about. Let's see here. Was it this one? Here we go. It was this one, and it was a memory utilization. I don't know if you can see it. Oops. I was trying to zoom into that here. But it was a memory utilization error. All right, we really can't see it well, but what it's saying is that she's running out of random access memory, which is used for processing, and there is a high CPU utilization. So there's something in the background that's taken up the processing power, which also caused this other issue with Zoom and Teams lag and not simply just not working because there's something in the background that is causing these issues. I would look through the task manager to see if anything comes up that stands out when it comes to this issue, when it comes to this lag related to high CPU and RAM utilization. But if nothing stands out in particular, a simple reboot could fix these issues. But let me see here. My video didn't work. Reinstall Zoom. I could have the latest version. I forget whether there were any reboots on this. Yeah, so I don't know if there are any reboots, but I would definitely reboot to kind of clear any services that might be causing this issue. Otherwise, you either have a virus on this computer or there are some heavy updates going on, like Windows updates in the background that's causing this issue. But it's stuck anyways, and it's not working properly. You might as well reboot. Try not to hard reboot. If you can do a soft reboot, that would be better. But you may have to just basically hard reboot it to make sure that it just cleared and start fresh and then see if this issue persists. That's what I would do. I'm just going to close this ticket because I get no response. And we're just going to move on and close the other one as well. So that way we are basically a little bit organized on this. Again, never close tickets unless they're actually resolved. These are, you can say, practice tickets, right? All right, so there's one more. Let's do one more since this is late and might as well. Why not? It'll just be a little bit more editing for me, but that's okay. No mouse pointer in VDI. VDI stands for Virtual Desktop Interface. Good afternoon. I have been trying to work in VDI all morning, continue to have no mouse pointer, and as soon as I enter VDI, I have a mouse pointer everywhere. Also on my home computer, I have rebooted numerous times, and I even rebooted my router twice. This has nothing to do with the router, but no luck. Can you provide any suggestions? I know my coworkers have also experienced this as well when working from home. When it comes to using a mouse in any virtual environment, you want to make sure that the mouse itself is being captured. Meaning, you see this movement here? This wouldn't be possible, me to record a movement of this mouse at all, if I haven't told that software that records the screen to capture the mouse pointer. For those same reasons, any virtual machines will also have this issue where you have to tell it to capture the mouse input and mouse pointer, and same thing with the keyboard. So I would make sure that these settings are enabled. Let me see if I have anything going on here when it comes to VirtualBox. If I have a machine that's ready, this is Mac OS installed in here. Well, let me see if this comes up. So this is Mac OS on the virtual desktop. Usually VDIs are just Windows machines. Here's virtual desktop, and right now it's just booting up the Mac OS. So there you go. This is something a little bit different when it comes to this type of video, but nonetheless, I'll show it to you. I'm showing it to you in full screen right now, so it's zoomed out. There's no point because you can see things are just moving. It's loading the operating system here. And all right, let's see. So it depends on what kind of virtual desktop you're using, but if you go to input, and then go to these settings, make sure that it's enabled. I guess I should have looked at that. Well, oh wow, okay. So it's updating. I don't know how long it's going to take. It says 29 minutes here. But see, if I hover over it now, it's not showing the mouse pointer. That may be because the extension for that is not fully loaded, but it would show up once the operating system is fully loaded. So, well, unfortunately, this is not coming up here. All right, let's see here. What can we do? Let me just go to preferences here. And again, it may not be the same when it comes to the VDI system that you're using, but let's just look at this here. If I go to input, you can see that there are some commands to use when it comes to input that are specific to the virtual machines. So there might be a setting that you are need to enable, but you can see where it says here auto capture keyboard. So it's going to capture automatically capture every time the virtual machine window is activated when the keyword is captured. All keystrokes, including system ones like Alt Tab, are directed to the virtual machine. So that means it's basically capturing anything that you do on your keyboard and it's replicating inside the virtual machine. And let me see here. Is there anything under extension? So poke around because it might be a little bit different for you. So I'm going to go to settings here just to show you here. And I'm going to go to system here. And where was that at? I'm looking for the part that serial ports, USB. Well, that's just a different type of USB. User interface. Here we go. User interface. So make sure that this is checked where it says keyboard and mouse integration. Also go to the devices and make sure that USB is enabled as well, just to make sure that there is a crossover, if you will. Okay, so just kind of poke around and look for these type of settings. So yeah, just to kind of reiterate quickly, the mouse pointer should be captured once the operating system loads, not necessarily while it's loading, because it has to interface with the other parts of the main operating system. Okay, so I'm just going to say, please check on input capture devices for the virtual machine. I'm going to say VDI, sure, why not? And make sure that USB is enabled as well. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. And since there's nothing I can, physically resolve myself, I'm just going to resolve this ticket instead of keeping it open. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this was a useful session for you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Best wishes to you and your family. Take care. Bye-bye.